Why is it still so hard for Africans to move across Africa? Here is a question worth thinking about. Why is it sometimes easier for an African to travel to Europe or the Middle East than to another African country? And it's not just about flights. Moving across Africa, whether it's people, ideas, or even goods, can be very difficult. Africa is one continent with more than 50 countries, hundreds of cultures, and over 1 billion people. Yet for many Africans, traveling across the continent can involve visa restrictions, expensive transport routes, complicated border processes, and limited direct connections between major cities. In some cases, traveling from one African city to another may even require flying through Europe or the Middle East first. Shocking. The numbers reveal just how complex this issue is. Africans still need visas to travel to about 60% of other African countries, and only about 28% of travel routes within Africa are completely visa-free. But the challenge goes beyond travel. Only around 15% of Africa's trade happens within the continent itself, which shows how difficult it can be to move goods across African borders. For businesses, entrepreneurs, and traders, crossing borders can involve delays, high costs, and complicated regulations. These barriers affect more than convenience, they affect opportunity. When movement across the continent is limited, tourism struggles to grow, businesses find it harder to expand across borders, and cultural exchange becomes slower than it should be. Yet Africa is filled with extraordinary cities, landscapes, cultures, and creative communities, from Dakar to Lagos, Nairobi to Addis Ababa, Accra to Johannesburg. Imagine a continent where Africans could move freely to explore these places, collaborate across industries, and build businesses that span multiple African countries. Africa is one continent, but in many ways it still operates like many separate worlds. And in a time when global connections is becoming more important than ever, the ability for Africans to move freely across Africa could unlock enormous possibilities. If Africa's future depends on connection, collaboration, and growth, then one important question remains. How do we truly build a connected continent if it's still easier for Africans to leave Africa than explore it? Maybe the future of Africa isn't just about connecting Africa to the world. Maybe it's about connecting Africa to itself. This is Draft Africa, where we tell the stories Africa must never forget.